You know that phone you're probably holding in your hand right now? It's so much more than just a phone. Seriously, think of it like a personal vault, and it's packed with all the little details of your life. So what we're going to do today is crack that vault open together. We're going to take a look at its secret life, what it knows, how it finds out, and most importantly, what you can actually do about it.
Okay, let's just get right to the big one. The question that I know you've asked yourself. You're talking to a friend about, I don't know, needing a new coffee maker. And then the very next time you're scrolling social media, bam, ads for coffee makers are just everywhere. It's that spooky feeling, right? It makes you think, there's no way my phone has to be listening to me.
So, is your mic secretly on all the time? Well, the truth is a little more complicated. The real story, the much bigger story, isn't really about your microphone. Honestly, companies don't need to listen to you. Why would they go to all that trouble when they're already collecting a mind-boggling amount of data from, well, pretty much everything else you do?
So let's peel back the first layer here. We're going to start with how these companies build a digital version of you. It's almost like a digital twin, a doppelganger that shadows you, not just on your phone, but across every single device you touch.
This whole thing is called cross-device tracking. And the most important thing to get about this is that it's not about tracking your phone or your laptop anymore. Nope, it's about tracking you, the person. The entire goal is to vacuum up your activity from your phone, your work computer, that tablet you use at night, and stitch it all together into one single, massive profile that says, this is who you are.
So why is this so incredibly important to them? Well, because that's just how we all live now, right? Just think about your own day. A study from Google found that a wild 98% of people in the US switch between different devices on the very same day. You might start looking for a recipe on your phone, open it on your laptop to read it better, and then add the ingredients to a shopping list on your tablet. For data companies, connecting those dots is everything. It's the holy grail.
And here's why. This chart lays it out perfectly. Look, if they only have your phone data, their ability to predict what you'll do or buy next is kind of low. If they just have your desktop data, it's a little better. But when they combine the two, whoa, their accuracy goes through the roof. That right there, that is the multi-billion-dollar reason they do it.
Okay, so that covers how they track you across devices. But, you know, the data collection actually gets a lot deeper and, frankly, a bit creepier once we start looking inside the apps on your phone. This is where we find what I like to call the ghosts, these invisible middlemen that are always working in the background.
So here's how this works. Most app developers don't build every single piece of their app from scratch. They use these little pre-packaged bits of code called SDKs, or software development kits. It makes it super easy to add things like ads or analytics. The best analogy I've heard is this. An SDK is like a pre-built window you install in a house. It's way faster and easier, right? But what if you didn't know that the window manufacturer built a tiny, hidden camera into the frame, and now it's inside your house, collecting data? That's kind of what can happen with SDKs.
And we have to be clear, the data they're after isn't just about what you're actively doing, like the videos you watch or the things you buy. The passive data, the stuff your phone generates just by being in your pocket, that can be even more revealing. It's not about what you tap, it's about how you move.
Okay, for example, take the accelerometer. It's that little sensor inside your phone that detects motion. You probably know it as the thing that flips your screen from vertical to horizontal when you turn it sideways. Seems pretty harmless, doesn't it?
Well, you might want to sit down for this. It turns out that this seemingly innocent sensor is a potential privacy nightmare. And the wildest part, apps usually don't need any special permission to access its data. From those little movements, it can be used to infer some incredibly personal stuff. We're talking about your activities, like if you're walking or on a bus, your age, and even your health. But it gets crazier. It can even be used to detect the tiny little vibrations from your fingers hitting the screen, which means it could potentially reconstruct what you're typing. Yeah, including passwords.
All right, so everything we've talked about so far has been in this kind of murky, gray area of invasive advertising. But now, we're going to shift gears and head straight into the dark side. Active, malicious attacks. This is where criminals aren't just trying to figure out what to sell you, they are actively trying to steal from you.
And please know, this is not some small niche problem. It is absolutely exploding. According to the security experts at Kaspersky, mobile attacks jumped by a whopping 52% in just 1 year. The bad guys are going mobile first, because they know that's where the good stuff is. That's where our money and our most valuable data live.
You know, the ways they get in are often surprisingly simple, but they are brutally effective. First, you've got malware. Think of an app that looks like a fun game, but it's secretly a Trojan horse designed to steal your banking info.
Then there's phishing, especially what's called smishing, those fake urgent texts trying to scare you into clicking a malicious link. And of course, you've got network attacks, which is when a criminal sits in the same coffee shop as you, on the same public Wi-Fi, trying to spy on your connection.
This always leads to the big question, which is safer, Android or iOS? And the answer is, it's complicated. They're like two different kinds of castles. Android is this open ecosystem. You can install apps from anywhere, which is super flexible, but also creates more risk for malware. Apple's iOS is a walled garden. Every app is strictly checked, which cuts way down on malware. But that can make people feel a little too safe, and they become easier targets for phishing scams. In fact, one study found that iPhones get targeted by phishing attacks twice as much as Androids. So the real lesson here, neither one is a perfect fortress.
Look, after hearing all of that, it's really easy to feel kind of helpless, right? But I promise you, you are not. There are very real, very effective things you can do, starting today, to build your own personal security plan and start taking back your privacy.
All right, this is your essential checklist. I'm serious, go ahead and take a screenshot of this. Number 1, keep your phone and your apps updated. Those updates aren't just for fun new features, they contain critical security fixes. 2, stick to the official app stores. Don't go downloading from random websites. 3, lock it down. Use a strong passcode and biometrics like your face or fingerprint. 4, if you're ever on public Wi-Fi, please use a VPN. It encrypts your data. And 5, set up remote wipe. That way, if your phone is ever lost or stolen, you can erase it from afar. These simple habits are honestly your strongest line of defense.
Now, it's also important to note that some privacy threats aren't a bug or an attack. They're actually a feature. They're called dark patterns, and they are user interfaces that are deliberately designed to trick you. Oh, you have absolutely seen these. It's when the Accept All button is huge and bright green, but the link to manage your settings is tiny gray text hidden in a corner. The whole point is to wear you down and manipulate you into giving up more data than you wanted to.
But here's some good news. Lawmakers are finally starting to catch on. There's a real legal movement pushing back against these deceptive designs. As of right now, 14 states have already passed laws that specifically make it illegal for companies to use dark patterns to trick you into consenting. It's a really good first step toward making our consent on the internet actually mean something again.
So after all of this, it really just boils down to one thing. Your phone is a treasure chest. It holds your identity, your money, your most private thoughts. And every single app you install, every Wi-Fi network you join, every permission you grant, that's you handing over a copy of the key. So the real question you have to ask yourself is, who are you letting hold the key?